Addiction or affliction? We got a little bit of both. A double episode, season 6 remix with yours truly. Let's go.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Say what? What's going on, everybody? Oh, I don't know if you know this, but if you look to my left, look at those familiar faces. What? Got the OG crew in the place.
We're here.
All right, I'm your man, Chaos J. You can find me on Twitter. You can also find me on Instagram, Chaos_Oceans31. Welcome to the Catfish Season 6 Remix Show. Shout out to the other half of the dynamic duo, the OG. She's doing red carpet things right now.
Big thing.
Hope she's having fun. And let's go to my lovely throwback OG DMC crew / OG Catfish panel.
I got the call and I could not resist the lure of Catfish. This is Constance Dunn. It's so great to be joining you guys tonight. You can always find me on Twitter or Instagram, Constance Dunn.
Yeah, it's your boy Jimmy V. Twitter, Instagram, @Be Your Own Dad. I remember when we all first met up on this exact panel. It feels good to be back.
It feels good. As y'all can see, your boys got the Kool-Aid grin.
Swag
you
on.
know what I'm saying? I got the crew back. Not like I didn't just see him yesterday on the DMC.
Right.
Make
sure you go check that out on Black Hollywood, by the way.
Exactly. If you're not up on DMC, Dating, Mating, Communicating on Black Hollywood Live, you need to be.
Yes, sir.
So definitely check that out Wednesdays, 8:10 PST. All right, so let's get into it. We've got double episode. We've got Ari and Lanum, and then we've got Dylan and Allie. So we're gonna start off with Ari and Lanum. Ari was 21 from Los Angeles. Lanum was supposedly, he was 24. He was supposedly from West Covina. And yeah, so they met on Plenty of Fish.
POF.
And Nev and Max get an email from Lanum's brother,
Right.
saying that, hey, I think my brother's being catfished. Yeah. Can you help? And then Ari hits up Max and Nev, and she's saying, hey, I want to prove that I'm not a catfish. Can you help? What'd you guys think about that? Because it's a slight little twist from the normal, recipe.
Right.
Yeah, very different than what we've usually seen. And it's funny to put somebody on the defensive. Don't you think that's interesting?
Yeah, definitely. It's not a new tactic though. We've seen that before where the person is doing the dirt is the person is accusing the other one of doing the dirt to deflect from the fact that they're doing dirt.
Right.
So I couldn't help but think that when I first figured out what was going on.
Yeah, it's
so
world class.
again,
You know what? Maybe it gets to a point where it's starting to feel so much pressure. Like, let me kind of get this off of me, so they kind of throw it on. It's not me, it's them.
It's them.
So,
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Me? No.
It could also come down to the attention factor, which we find is a real common theme.
Oh, it's a huge common thing.
These episodes,
so Ari has talked to Lanum about this, and and he's like, yeah, my brother's tripping. But I believe that you're real, and and she knows that she's real because she's her. Either way, she wants to prove to Jeff and Lanum she's very, very real. Okay, now let's take it back a little bit. She sees him on Facebook, hits him up, like, yo, they start talking, they exchange numbers, and they hit it off immediately. And then within a matter of days, that we're going to find out, in a matter of days, they're already dropping L-bombs.
For real.
And I'm trying to think back to like season 5. We were always amazed at how quickly the couples would jump into dropping the L-bombs and the love, but I don't think we've ever seen it where it was this quick.
Yeah.
4 days.
Yeah, and it's very saccharine-y. Like whenever you see screenshots, it's like so gross how they use the "I love you, baby," like the most kind of grody stuff.
I don't know
works
about
if
you guys, but
in
I
love,
take that word serious. All right.
Yeah.
I've
I don't
actually been in relationships where I've been asked, do you feel that way about me? And I'm like, listen, I'll let you know when I do.
Like when I get there, I'll let you know.
Exactly,
Nice.
you know?
Yeah.
And kind of bad
I can't say that I've always
part.
been that tactful with it, but ultimately that's what you have to do because it doesn't mean that you don't care for him.
Right,
You just haven't
exactly.
gotten to that. You haven't reached that.
I'm just
point.
not at that point. But
Yeah.
they might take it as, oh, I guess he's just not really into me all that much. And I think it takes time, you know? You got to build a relationship. Like we speak on
Yeah.
DMC, you know? It's a job, right?
Right,
But
right.
the way they use it, it's like, good morning, good night, I love you.
Can I
It's
throw down a quote? I don't
Sure.
know from who wrote it.
Are you going to
but-
shoot us or are you going to throw a quote down? I mean,
What you gonna do then? What
I
you
mean,
gonna
what's
do?
going on? I'm just,
These are my quote hands.
Okay.
It goes, those
Thought they
who
were your
use-
pistols.
Those who use the word love most promiscuously are those who have never felt it. Come on.
You know what?
this is very true.
That's true.
Let's get
Because when you
bumper
feeling
stickers
like
on that.
you're in love, oh man, you on top of the world.
Right. That's
I'm a whole different
Yeah.
person.
And not only
Don't
that,
lie.
but then even then, when you're feeling that, you're still reluctant to say it immediately. Like even when you know, like, hey, like I think I love that girl.
Yeah.
You still don't just be like, I love you, girl.
Yeah, no,
like
no,
it
no,
doesn't
no.
just come out readily. It just doesn't, slip off your tongue like that.
And that's when
But
you know
you're
it's
right.
real, though. That's when you know it's real, because
Right.
you can't just say it.
Yeah.
You guys, this is interesting. That's so funny that we're having this conversation because
Man, we talk about relationships all the time.
Isn't this low key like deja vu?
For real.
The only thing is just a little switch because usually Jimmy's over
On
here
that side,
and I'm over
right.
there.
And Constance is there, but okay.
But here's the funny thing is that, right, it is. It's like a sacred word. That's how I've always approached it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said it to one person in my life, and I'm married to him. So I don't
There you
want
go,
to
okay, yeah.
Marty! Marty got married. That's Marty, the one-man party, an alter ego of ours. Marty! Anywho, here's the funny thing. I come from more of a traditional perspective. I usually bring that. I would never say that to a man first. That's something that you wait for him to say to you.
Oh, okay.
And you never even
'Cause for
hint
me,
around.
it's always been the other way around.
Girls have told you they're in love with you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Come on, don't let the smooth taste fool you.
Come
I got
on
that
now,
effect.
hey,
I
hey,
believe it, but they're bold. See?
Yeah, no, it's always, for me, it's almost always been the opposite. And then it's either I'm there when they're there or I'm not quite there.
Okay, let's
So
yeah.
let me ask you guys this. We just spoke about it takes us a while to get there. Once you know how love actually feels like, do you think it's possible that this can actually go down within 4 days, like it went down on
no.
the show?
No. You have to see each other.
You can really feel a strong
Bond,
chemistry and a
yeah.
bond and a connection with that person after 4 days. I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
And it can eventually lead to a deep love, but 4 days, you don't know yet because you don't know that person.
Right.
There are people that have been together for 2-3 years and they still don't know that person like the back of their hand. Like they know a lot, but there's still
Right.
a lot of things that they're learning.
Reminds me of Kim Kardashian and Chris Humphries. They got married
Oh,
after
yeah.
4 days, and then they were only
72.
married for 10 days.
It was 72.
Oh,
Yeah.
whoops.
Yeah, hey, get it right.
You see
buddy.
that, right?
It was 2 months and 2 weeks. Okay,
That
get it
was
right.
like faking fakers. Even I could smell that one. But I have to ask you a gender question, or I would not, even if I felt like I met a man and even if I felt I was in love with him, I would like zippy. I would never say that because I would think it would take away my power. I would always wait for him to come to me with it. When a woman says that to you,
You know you're in control at that point.
right, but she loses something. I feel this, and if you want to say a C or a no or nod your head or blink twice.
Let me tell you why. It's
She
because
loses control. See, I
because
don't.
the chase is
she
what
comes
starts
down
it
a
off.
couple notches in your.
Nope.
The chase
Okay.
is what starts it off. I gotta get you. I gotta get you. Once you gotta, then she's like, "Look, I've fallen for you now. At this point, I love you. The chase is over. I got you in the bag. Now what?
Now.
Are you flipping me off? What you trying to say?
No, not at all. So,
You want to say
I've
yes.
never looked at it. No, but I've
Okay.
never really. I don't think I've ever really looked at it like. Okay, once I did. Once I looked at it, I was like, damn. When I remember there was a girl that I had a little crush on, and it was during the summer. The summer had just kicked off, and I ended up seeing her, and I got her number. And I remember we talked on the phone that day for like 3 or 4 hours. And by the end of that conversation, she's like, I think I'm falling in love with you. Like, oh my God. And I was just like, okay. And I was like kind of weirded out. And I remember getting off the phone like, yeah, buddy. But aside from that, and like I said, I was in school. Aside from that, every other situation where that's happened, where they've said it first, it's never really made me feel like, yeah, now I got the upper hand.
Right.
I've never felt like that. I've always just been like, oh, okay. And it's either a matter of, am I there too?
Right.
Or am I getting there? And it just makes me reassess things, but never do I knock them down a peg.
Right.
Or do I feel like, yeah, now I've got the control. Never thought like that.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, because maybe I should have had more like love affairs or something and said it more. But I always felt like even if I felt it, to never say it. But that's something a man always says to you, and it's a serious conversation. But I would sew my lips shut before I said that word to a guy first.
Okay, so,
so
either way,
4 days. They're
4 days in,
dropping the L bombs.
They're dropping the L bombs. And at some point, LA, the West Covina, yeah, it's a nice little hike, but it ain't that far. Like, that's definitely doable in a day.
Right.
And when I say in a day, I mean, like, y'all can do lunch and then be back home before rush hour hits if you plan it right. So there's no excuse to why they haven't met. And either way, they're supposed to meet. And I don't remember if she said either it was the day they were supposed to meet or the day before.
Day before.
I think it was the day before his brother dies.
Yeah.
Something always comes up.
Crazy.
It is. That's on the Catfish checklist.
Right.
I didn't get it up for you guys. I'll have it up next week. But the Catfish checklist is always a big dramatic event that's taking place. Death, illness, something that's going to keep them from connecting with you in person.
Right.
Along with, the whole video chat and the video never works and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So anyways, his brother Nathan dies. His brother's in Texas. He has to move to Texas to help take care of his kids. So all of this transpires within a day.
Right, very elaborate.
Yeah, it was. So, whatever. What did you guys think when you heard that? Now, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, well, that's pretty big. That's big of him. Like, just drop the things and just go and get those kids. But at the same time, I was like, oh, that's so convenient.
If the story's true, then I respect it. If the story's a lie, which we see is it's a shame how far people will go to make up something.
Yeah, especially since there's the idea that it wouldn't usually happen in one day that someone would pass away and that you'd have people asking to do
and
your
you make
life.
all those changes,
right?
Yeah.
And then let's ask another question: if the brother has kids, where's the mom?
Oh, well, true, but
Because that would be my question. Like, well, I've got to go down there. I got to take care of the kids. Pause.
where's the
Where's
mom?
the mom?
Right.
Is the mom still living? Is the grandparents there? Like, and
There's-
no way am I saying like you can't go.
Right.
Go be with your family, but like you really just gonna 24 hours?
Yeah.
Right.
Like we mobilizing like that?
I understand where you're coming from. There's many unanswered questions that haven't been answered before you come to me asking me to do this.
And I
service.
hate to say it, I'm not trying to knock on being young because I'm still young and swaggy myself. However, that's the fallacy of youth.
Right.
Is being gullible.
Yes.
And being naive because we've all got a little season to us, so we know better. We know to ask certain questions like, "Where's the mom?"
Right.
Where clearly, with her being younger, she's new to this, and so she doesn't know.
Yeah, it's good you
So
brought that
she just
up.
kind of buys into that.
Ari's 21,
Right.
And you see that, especially you have to look at the picture that who she believes Lanum is, who she believes Lanum looks like. Like, you guys could trade six-pack pictures because he's a good-looking guy.
Right,
Remember
yeah.
what the pictures
With
were?
tats.
And there would be a looks differential there a little bit in that she's cute. He's a very, very good-looking guy. Well, that's what she thinks. So there's a
Right.
little bit of swoon in there, too. And sometimes you're going to cut people some slack.
Oh,
you
you
just think
do.
they're like the hottest
You
thing.
do.
Yeah, so it's always base of experience. So we never bag on Ari or anybody who just doesn't have the base of experience yet.
So, he says he moves to Austin. They still talk. But things are they're getting really suspicious now. And so then obviously enter Max and Neve, or Neve and Max. And they start doing the research. And I mean, what did you guys think when they started doing the research? I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be who they found out Lanum really was.
Right. You didn't expect that.
I didn't expect that. Like, not the actual person. I'm talking about when they actually found them online. They found the profile that the pictures came from.
Oh, okay.
Like, and it was from a guy in Bologna.
Oh, right. The Italian graffiti. He was a tattoo artist. Yeah.
But and this is a good thing. This is something that I added to the checklist, but it's something that I wasn't familiar. Like, I never thought about. They said, if you have less than 100 friends, it's suspicious.
Definitely.
You know what? That's a good point.
Like, I can actually, I got a testimony for you real quick. Somebody reached out to me through my blog, said, hey, I like your blog, everything's good. I was like, oh, okay, great. And then they reached out to me on Facebook, said, you're very inspirational. I was like, oh, okay, well, I see they're showing love, so let me see who this person is. Went to click on the profile, very attractive woman. I was like, oh, okay, but she's only got like 50 friends. So, of course, being on the Catfish panel, I already knew
Start running through that checklist.
what was up, right? So then I was like, hey, do you have a Snapchat? Do you have an Instagram? I don't have Snapchat, but I do have an Instagram. Okay, sure. I checked the Instagram, the same exact pictures as Facebook. I stopped there. I was like, I'm sorry.
Wow.
No.
So we're talking looks.
He's like, you get no more motivational quotes from me.
Like, I just don't believe it. You are way too pretty to only have 25 followers.
Yeah.
Really?
And, yes. I was like, no.
Was it a new account?
No, she's actually had the account for a couple months now. So I'm like, there's no way.
Like 0 to 10, what was she on the list?
Oh, she was. I'd give her a 7. She's very pretty, but I don't think it's actually her. Like, I think whose ever picture she's stealing, that's who's the pretty one. Who the actual person is, I don't believe it. And maybe she's watching this, so I got you.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Don't try to catfish the catfish expert.
No.
Okay, so we get to where, again, they figure out that he's in, it's some guy in Bologna. And then they do some more digging.
Right.
What do you guys think about the research that they found? Like, I mean, they did some research and they found some good stuff.
They did. And now we're not where there's other women coming out of the woodwork yet.
No, we are.
Okay, great.
Yeah. We got the women,
Mm-hmm.
and then we got when he graduated. Let's talk about that. He graduated in 2001.
Yeah.
And he's telling this chick like he's 24.
Like he's 24, yeah.
Yeah, very odd. And it's interesting.
I graduated in 99. Do the math. I'm just saying.
It's weird because, of course, we know that this girl named Kelli reached out to Max and Neve and told them that she was, was very pivotal because she said that she did send nude pictures to this guy, Lanum. And, of course, they were set to meet. And Kelli basically was telling him, I don't want to, meet up. And he was like, yeah, basically, like, screw you. I'm a catfish.
I'm a catfish anyway, so it doesn't even really matter.
So that's when they
and
asked,
that's after she had called him out. I'm sorry. And that's after she had called him out because he was BSing her. And he had hit her with the brother story, too.
Yeah, with the Jeff.
With the cancer.
Right. And it's interesting because Catfish, of course, reached out to Jeff, who was supposedly Lanum's brother, to basically investigate who had reached out as the brother to investigate Ari. So they reached out, Catfish guys reached out to Jeff to find out, hey, do you think we can meet up with Lanum? And, of course, the numbers are the same.
Right, exactly. And then not only that, but then... Wait, I lost my train of thought. Okay, but let's not forget you talked about Kylie, but then did you talk about Tiffany?
No.
Let's talk about Tiffany. I think her name was Tiffany.
Very weird.
Yeah, like Tiffany, he actually admitted to Tiffany how old he was. And Tiffany was the other girl that he had talked to. He had met on Plenty of Fish as well.
Oh, okay, yeah,
And right when they were supposed to meet her, disappeared.
Yeah.
Didn't even talk to her anymore.
Yeah.
He just went ghost. But that one he had said like, oh, I'm about 33, whatever, which would be if you graduated in 2001. That's about right.
That's about right. Yep.
Yeah, that's about
And
right.
it's funny. It's almost like he's testing the waters, like trying to peel back some of his like facade
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
see
Exactly.
if they'll accept it or not. Which,
And then my thing is just ladies, stop giving the nudes so
I know,
quickly.
right?
So
They
easily.
just, man.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I'm like, man, too bad I'm not into that. 'Cause
Yeah, right.
I would just be news on news on news.
Yeah.
But I'm not. That's never been my thing.
Right.
And, but it just never ceases to amaze me
I know,
how
it's sad.
quickly women are just bam. Oh, you want some naked pics?
Sure,
Snap, snap,
yeah.
snap,
Yeah.
snap, 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 snap. Like.
It's the idea that they trust the guy, you know, at that point.
Yeah.
It's very sad. And it's funny. I mean, it's not funny, but hopefully the numbers have come down and how many people actually do that.
Right.
I remember, like, you know, being single, and obviously someone would, like, you know, I know would have, they knew me in real life, but they just sometimes like text me, like someone I know, like, can you send me a picture? Not even asking for a nude picture, and I'd just be like, no, like, I'm not going to keep sending you pictures of myself.
Right.
Like, here's me and my dog. Like, you don't need to have pictures of different girls on your phone. Like, if you're a guy
No, you really
that is just
don't.
like, it always felt sleazy too. I mean, again, they're not asking for nudes, but I would just be like, no, I don't want pictures, like, you know, and they'd send me pictures themselves. I'm like, I don't really want.
I remember a long time ago. I'm not gonna say when, but I remember a long time ago. I was talking to this girl, and I had said like, "Oh, like you know, like can I get a picture?"
Right.
And what I meant when I said, "Can I get a picture?"
Oh,
Because I had
no.
just sent a picture, and it was just like it was a normal selfie. It was
Right.
simple. I had my shirt on. I was completely dressed.
Right, right.
Wasn't poking anything out. And she sends me she sends me these pictures of her in like a thong.
Really?
And like she's bending over in all these like sexual positions.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she's like, yeah, she was like, after we get to know each other, then I'll send you some bleep 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 pictures. And I'm like, whoa,
Really?
What else
whoa.
is
I was
what
like-
else is there to say?
I was like, whoa. I'm like, hold on. I just wanted a
Wait.
picture of your face. Like, that's all I wanted. Like, I got pretty much everything minus the, naked shots.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I was just like, I just wanted a picture of your face. Like, how is this possible?
That's so weird. And
but
so
that
weird,
just
yeah.
goes to show, like I was saying, that they just, they give it up.
So she was immediately off the docket.
She
for
just,
you?
bam, just, here you go.
Oh, that's so sad.
Nudes
so
on
sad.
nudes on nudes with the clothes on
right,
though, with
wow.
draws. So Jeff writes and says you can reach Lanum directly at
Right.
blah blah blah. And we have a clip for you where Nev actually calls Jeff to talk, calls Lanum to talk to Lanum. Let's take a look.
Really prove to her that you are who you say you are.
It's just, I'm so busy. I'm doing, I got a lot on my plate. It's just right now that the timing's not right.
Look, let's not bull each other. We know you've been lying, and Ari is pretty upset. And I don't think you care about her at all. We want to give you an opportunity to explain yourself, even though you really don't deserve it. So we'd like to come to Texas. We believe you live sort of in the Dallas area,
Yeah?
and we'd like to hear from you. She deserves to know the truth, and you owe that to her.
Yeah, I could do that.
Great. Why don't you text me your address, and we will let you know what our plans are.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
I like that. He said, look, let's
Let's
not
cut the
bullshit
bullshit.
each other. Yeah, let's
Exactly.
not. I ain't got no time for it.
Right.
Boom, boom, boom. There you go, Nev.
Exactly. I love that. And then within that conversation, we find out that, okay, Jeff is Lanum, Lanum is Jeff.
Right.
They're one and the same.
Yeah.
So then we see that they get to Dallas and they meet Marcus. I'm sorry. I messed up the reveal, but they meet if you didn't watch.
Right.
But we see Lanum is Marcus.
Yes.
And he looks nothing like Lanum. He's an older dude, and he's been doing this for the last 3 years. And it's there's always an excuse.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's attention. Sometimes it's addiction. And sometimes it's just, I just wanted to test the waters. And for
Yeah.
him, he says it started out as a social experiment.
That was such a lie. Sorry, that was.
And I'm
He
just
was
like,
it
really?
is a social
And he ends up
experiment.
backing.
Right,
He ends
what are
up
you, a
backing up.
professor?
He ends up
A master's in
backtracking.
social networking or
Exactly, and then he
something?
ends up backtracking and saying like, I wasn't getting any, I wasn't making any headway in the
Right.
real world with
Yeah.
women, and I was trying online and I wasn't getting anywhere. So I figured, let me try this. Whatever. We've got another clip, and we're pressed for time,
Yeah.
but I want to show this clip because this is legitimately the fear that women really do have when they're talking to someone online,
Right.
especially younger women.
Yes.
And Max hits it right on the head. Let's take a look. Crusty boxers. Let's go.
Every girl or guy that's ever been in Ari's place fears that they're talking to some mid-40-something-year-old man who's sad, sitting at home in his crusty boxers, like typing into the computer. And you're that guy. We finally met you. And that sucks for you.
You're right. Totally.
Yeah, but it also sucks even more for Ari and all the other girls whose time you wasted. You're not the victim.
Cold-blooded. All right, so I'm just gonna speed through this, and we're
Yeah.
gonna try and jump into this next episode. I love the way he shut him down. Like
It's what's needed in this world right now.
It
Right.
really
Everybody's
is.
trying to be too nice. I don't want to offend them.
Right.
No, they are doing wrong. You need to
Right.
tell them straight up.
Call
You're
them
doing
out.
this wrong.
Exactly.
Take care of your crusty boxes.
And then
move on.
don't let them blame shift and try and make it seem like they're the victim, because we see
Real
a
talk.
lot of
Right,
that.
right,
we
right,
see
right.
so much of that. Later on that night, he's texting her. He's trying to get her to talk to him, and she's like, I don't want to be bothered. Then he tries to do the guilt trip route, and she's like, I don't have any time for that. We follow up. We see them go. They have the the kumbaya session. And again, she kind of stood her ground, like, yeah. And he's like, oh, I got this gift for you. Because in his mind, he still thinks he has a chance, which is bananas. But, then he pulls out this ring. And I was like, wow. Now, the way they teased it in the trailer, I was thinking, like, okay, this dude's actually going to be really who he really says he is.
Right.
And then there's going to be a happy ending.
Exactly.
We didn't get that. I love the fact that he pulls out the ring and he's like, this is for you. And she's like, yeah, I don't want it. You.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, don't, girl.
Right, because the night before he was saying F you to her.
Right.
After what he's done to her, he's like, I can't believe you. It's like, you don't want to go out with me. Look at look
Exactly.
at the hotness, Yeah.
So-
but it is amazing, and it's funny how he said he wasn't getting attention when he was himself. He wasn't getting what he thought he deserved online. Do you understand what I'm saying? Look at
I
him.
like that.
Look at his qualifications. Look at his mate value. Look where he's at. He was probably getting people at his level, right?
Right.
And
No-
he thought he should be going out with like little cute like 21-year-olds.
Type
you know?
21-year-olds.
Right.
Here's the thing. No, you shouldn't, because that's creepy. Stop
Yeah,
it.
daddy.
And two, if you need to be able to self-assess and realize what your mate value is, and if your mate value isn't where you think it needs to be, then you need to figure out what you need to improve upon
Right.
Step your
to
game
increase
up.
that mate value.
Exactly.
Boom. Now, unfortunately, there's no happy ending on this episode, but she does move on. I want to say, didn't she get a boyfriend?
in the wrap up, right?
Yeah, she got a boyfriend. He said he stopped, or no, he declined to talk to him. He was still online dating,
Yeah.
but he wasn't catfishing. He was actually just trying to meet regular people.
Right, as himself.
She found somebody in real life, didn't do online dating, so it was happy in the end for her. Sucks for him, but you're kind of creepy, so I don't feel bad.
I don't
Next
feel bad.
episode,
Yeah.
real quick. So we've got Dylan and Allie. Dylan was 21.
Yeah. Great
and it was,
guy.
and Allie comes right around the time when he loses his mom, which was crazy because if I
Yeah.
remember correctly, he loses his mom like a year or two after his dad died.
Yeah, his
maybe
dad,
not even
yeah.
that quick.
Yeah.
So then that, she finds him by commenting on one of his pics, which we all see that happen. Some random person with zero
Yeah.
mutual friends hits you up, and then you guys you start talking. And for me, that's always my first thing is like, well, how did you find me? And we don't have any mutual friends, so how do you even Like you were just scrolling through the caves and you're like, oh, who's this chaos guy?
Right.
Let me hit him up. Like, that's a little shady. So they start talking, however, and again, she was there right when his mom died, so he's
Right.
vulnerable. He shuts everyone else out except for her, and she's there.
Right. And he said she didn't go away.
And no, she wouldn't. He tried to push her away.
Yep.
She wouldn't go away. And then he gets a random text from a number saying, hey, Allie's not who she says she is.
Yeah.
The cousin.
What'd y'all think?
Yeah.
I think the cousin did right. She's pretty much saying, I'm tired of you doing this over and over.
Right.
I gotta spill the beans to ultimately help you out in the end. Because
Yeah.
as we see in this episode, it's not just something that she does for fun.
Right.
It's something
And it
she's
was nice.
addicted
It
to.
was really
Yeah.
nice of her to intervene because she can see, and I don't know how much information she was privy to from talking to Allie, but she can see things are getting serious. Like this dude's trying to get into college. He's looking at relocating and possibly going where she is
Right,
to be with her.
Right.
And that's a big deal.
Exactly.
Especially to only get there and find out that that person might not be who they say they are.
Right, and he's a serious guy. He's a Christian guy. He's getting a whole tattooed arms of biblical things.
Bible verses.
He's
Right.
going to be a pediatric cardiologist. I was like, Dylan, I'm like, Dylan's like a total awesome guy. Like, you know?
High mate value.
Exact high mate value. And if someone's going to mess with this dude's life, you know, like he needs it. Like him
and he
of
was
all
a,
people.
like you said, he was a really, really nice guy. You know, Allie, she's got all the trademarks of a catfish. She's really good looking. Only got guy friends. Now this one, when she had 300 friends, and they said she only had 300 friends. I'm like, shoot, like before I left Facebook, I only had 300 friends, and I thought that was good. Like I'm blowing up.
Same here.
I'm doing big things. But you know, no photo tags. I mean, we saw all this stuff, and then you know, Allie's got this necklace of this Texas pendant, but she's in Oklahoma. More shady stuff. Then there's register complaints with the number when they do the reverse lookup of the number,
Which was a first for
right?
Catfish.
Like
Yeah.
we've never seen that. But then we also figure out that she's using like a text app,
Yeah.
with this a fake number or whatnot. So finally, you know, they start researching and they figure out they don't find Allie's original pictures. They don't find where it's coming from. But they find that, okay, something's not adding up.
Yes.
They start hitting up some of her friends, and then they actually call back. And then that's when one guy calls and says that he knew her as Ireland.
Right.
Right. And then she eventually, after he calls her out, admitted that she was catfishing him. Then we meet Clay and Mason.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, I thought that was cool because we often don't really get to see the people that actually...
Right. They were
Right.
very similar, all three. I mean, we didn't see Jay, the first
The
person.
stories
right.
were all similar.
They were all similar, and of course, we find out what happens. It's a very convoluted path. This chick, as we find out, had been doing this for a long time, like 6
long time.
years.
Yeah, she was putting in work.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what did you guys think after the meeting where they're talking to Clay and Mason, and then Mason is like, "Yeah, she was trying to hook me up with her sister,"
Right.
which wasn't even the real person. It's like, at what point do you just kind of say, "Okay, you know what? I'm good in this little pocket." Like,
She's-
you're already catfishing. Now you want to start expanding and bringing other people into the fold.
Exactly, and she was
other
selling
characters?
people dreams pretty
Right.
much.
Big
at
dreams.
that point, you know.
Big dreams.
And you know what's weird? I got to tell you, the episode before, it was like I was thinking, yeah, you know, it seems like there's a lot of the catfishes are guys. The people being the villains are the guys, and the victims are women. And then this episode came up and went bam. This chick, and can we get to the reveal or?
Yeah, let's get to the reveal. Okay, so
We are short on time, so
let's show where she comes out.
Right.
And we actually get the first look at Allie.
she was
or
hella nervous. She
Mary.
was like scared.
She was very nervous.
because she knew she was in the wrong.
Yep.
So we obviously have a lot of questions.
Gosh. I just want you to know, I wasn't trying to hurt you. You are my person, and you know that. You've been my person. He's always been there, no matter what. I didn't want it to be like this.
Shit.
I love you and I care about you. And I'm so, so sorry about all this,
Why pretend to be somebody else?
I've been doing this for a very long time. I've always been that outcast girl, so then when you go to another world like internet, you get to be whoever you want.
Okay, now real quick, first off, I know she was probably really nervous because we saw that before she came out, so that would
She was
explain
scared.
the nervous smile, the nervous laughter, but it was so creepy, and I'm sure that the producers and the music helped with that, but it was real creepy. Like, I got chills just watching her, like, you know, you're my person, you know that, you know, I really love you. I'm just like,
Because that's who you're going to believe at that
I'm just
moment.
like, stop talking.
And look,
Right now.
it gets under my skin when a person says, "You're my person." If I'm
Right.
really your person, you'd have told me. All right.
Right.
You're just saying this just to masquerade all the bullshit that you
Right,
did.
you're
So
trying to
if
save
I'm
face at
really
this point.
your person, you'd have kept it a buck with me from jump.
Right, and it's always that cheap use of language. You know, just
Yeah.
using like these kind of weird adjectives and stringing them together out of like romance
like the
novels.
tap-
like, baby,
it's-
I love you, it's you, and it's like just turning. It's such a foul like. You know,
Yeah.
perversion of something that
It
actually
is.
is special
Well,
in
and-
life.
But
I
what's-
think that's why I'm gonna be single my whole life because I'm
As
I'm
for L.
too honest. I'm too real. I'm like,
No,
look,
you're
just
fine.
tell me. I can move on and we can work it out. But as soon as you start to masquerade thing, I start to thinking, all right, there's something up here. And
Good friends make
I'm a
great
sh-
girlfriends. Remember that. And
I'm a
good
shy
friends.
away.
Yeah, friends.
Friends.
You are
How many
beautiful,
of us have
beautiful.
them?
Female
Right.
friends. I'm always advocating. I know you guys don't like to be friends with girls, but it's a great basis. If a beautiful woman comes into your life, it's like, I want to be friends. Be like, okay, I want to be friends too.
Right.
You hear that, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Even though I
There you go.
really want
Your
to.
conversion
Right.
rate.
This isn't DMC. This is Catfish.
Bide
Alright,
your time.
so-
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. fine.
Okay, no, you're good. So
Yeah,
real
Facebook
quick,
Mary.
so what was crazy was how it openly admits, like, I feel like this is an addiction and I don't think I'm going to stop. Like, I don't see myself stopping. And that kind of was problematic. Later we see when they have that kumbaya session that, finally Max drills down to why she's doing this. And we see that it's attention. And then again, like, your buzzword of the day is mate value. I never use this word. This is Constance's word. But again, like, she wasn't getting that attention as herself.
That's right.
Okay. That's because she has a low mate value right now. And her confidence is low.
Right.
And I feel like this is when you change something about that. Because granted, she was not Allie. I felt like had she lost weight and, and made a few changes.
Just work on yourself.
And worked on herself,
Yeah.
she could have been just as pretty as
That's what I
Allie.
thought. Raw
Like
materials.
she wasn't. Yeah, all
you
you
see
gotta
her
do
eyes?
is just carve. Exactly. All you gotta do
Yeah.
is just carve it up, bro.
Right, her
Car-
cheekbones, she had beautiful skin,
Diamond
high
in the rough.
cheekbones, and these like blue kind of eyes with this beautiful kind of cat slant to them naturally.
So-
she could have blown Allie out of the water. That's why I'm like, why are
And
you
it's just
doing
like
this?
you
It's a
have the
prison of
capability
your own-
to change
Exactly.
something within yourself if you're not happy with
Right,
it,
right.
and improve your mate value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dylan because he was such a great guy
Yeah.
about it, and he
Definitely
said,
was.
"I'll stay
Yeah.
your friend and help you through it." And then we see that, like I said, Max drills down to why she's doing it and then gets her to say, like, you know what, maybe you shouldn't do this. Maybe you should really, really put forth a concerted effort to not catfish anymore. Because at this point, she admits she'd been catfishing like hundreds. She was talking to dudes on dudes on dudes on dudes.
Yeah, hundreds. She said.
I felt kind of bad because I didn't think Chelsea looked bad. And I was like, Chelsea could have easily been perfect for Dylan.
Oh,
You know, Right,
her
her cousin,
Yeah. Right, yeah.
She wasn't bad looking, but ultimately
at first I thought Chelsea was the cat.
she was
Fisher.
running both of them.
Yeah.
Interesting. No, but that was so sad about Facebook Mary.
Yeah.
And I like that she had some kind of humility. It's not right to catfish hundreds of dudes. And as we know that there was a police altercation, a really pissed off guy
which
came to her work.
brought danger, an element
Yeah.
of danger into it. So it's like at that point you need to cut it.
Yeah.
So when we get the wrap up, Dylan's doing his thing. He's in school. He's got a girl.
Right.
She's doing her thing. She's getting ready to start culinary school
Which
because
is
that
good
was
for
one
her.
of the things that they found out that she loved was baking,
Yeah.
and she was really good at it. She's baking, so she's happy. She's not catfishing people. She's doing the 10,000 step challenge, so she's slowly working on herself,
Yeah.
and thus hopefully she will improve her mate value. So that we got our happy ending with that one. And we had a slightly bittersweet happy ending with the other one.
Yeah.
And then that was our episodes, guys. That was a double up. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the reunion. You guys
Thanks for
coming
having me back, man.
on Catfish, the OG crew. And if you like us, which I know you do, you can always check us out on the DMC. I'm your man, Chaos J. This is a Catfish Season 6 remix. Again, shout out to my other dynamic duo half, the OG Olivia. She's doing her thing right now. Twitter, Instagram, Chaos_Oceans31. 31 flavors of waviness all day. Get some.
Yes.
Where can they find you?
Constance Dunn. You can always find me on Twitter or Instagram.
Jimmy V, go check out my blog, beyourowndad.blogspot.com. I don't do catfishes, so don't play with me.
Don't play with him. That boy quit school because of recess. And with that being said, it's a wrap. We're out. Thanks for tuning in. See you later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.